All right, it is Thursday. We've started streaming. I don't even think I have a Twitch window open. Really? Just started a stream without Twitch. Perfect. Perfect. We're off to a good start. Let me open Twitch. Twitch. Print. Go to play. It's always she's on the front page. No, I don't have a shortcut that takes me straight to where I need to be, the dashboard. But hey, look, I'm live. If you're watching this VOD, welcome. You can tell this is super professional. All right. Now I'm on my act. Cool. And just in time for Unity to load up. It's in Shaded Dunes last. Yeah, definitely got. Go here, hit play, and pop in. I'm also not facing the microphone, so there's no telling how much you guys actually have heard on the VOD. Sorry about that. Like I said, I went from thinking I was going to be early today. I was like, oh, I'll probably start the stream 15, 20 minutes early, to looking at it and going, oh, wow, I'm actually behind and doing all sorts of stuff wrong. So, oh well. Hey, John, how are you doing? How's the game going? Turn my headphones down a little bit. Ooh, man. I've just made coffee. Thank goodness. All right. What we got going on here? Though ultimately what I want to do today has very little to do with being in here directly, at least. There's some stuff I need to do in a database that I can do while I'm sitting in here, but it's not necessary that I'm actually in here. Oh yeah. Oh man, I was too slow. Now I'm doing the Humpty dance. Oh man, but it was a really that's a pretty death. That's a very pretty room. I love that room. What's up, Keebs? Hey, BDC Retro. Hey, Echo the Wizard. Echo the Wizard, did you say that you're offering prizes if somebody could figure out your name? The origin of your name? Need to set up a hotkey for GM command? What we need to have is GM commands persist through zoning and logging in and out. I should just set my status. But I do need to set up a hotkey now that we've got macros. I haven't played with macros in a while. John, everything's good? I've been out of the loop. I've got a macro window. I see my name here. Select a macro to edit. Cool. Let's do that right now. That's fantastic. Hey, Justin Beer, what's going on, buddy? Golden Gloves, hello. All right, so I've got reload here, /reload. Who's in here with me? Just me. Good, I'm not disturbing anybody. Though, yeah, I'll keep it named reload. Run it. It ran. Hello, the Howler Monkey. All right. Can I hotbar them yet, John? I swear I read what you wrote. I just didn't retain it on stream. Honest. So these coffees, today I'm only gonna have 2 of them. I had the first one, that Jasmine brought me in the morning, and then this is my second one. This is like my big treat for the entire day. A coffee with cream and 2 sugars. This is a pretty big bowl of coffee. That's basically my splurge all day. But despite that, given my complete lack of activity lately, aside from just hitting our weight room, I am still putting on the holiday pounds. All right. I've done it. Oh, badass, John. Okay, I want to make another one. Invuln / invuln. Run. It is enabled. Perfect. Okay, shift, great. What else do I use? That's changing icon? Sure. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Change icon. Oh, isn't that pretty? It's funny, I don't think I've ever seen the full list of icons. We've got a ring. We've got praying, I guess. We got an earring. Got a club. I think have I seen the club? All right, so I'm gonna make that monster invulnerability. Oh, I'm gonna make all of them that monster because they're easy to read. Change icon, do monster. Okay. Perfect. Monster is easy to read. The cookie monster. Items auto-equip when dropped on paper doll in the inventory. John, badass. Nice push. Matter of fact, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit pause and I'm gonna pull. Keebs asked, has there been any discussion whether or not you guys are planning to release through Steam or just through your own client? We have no plan to release through Steam at this point in time. Justin said, I just bought an AHP Elite 8300 with a small loan, and I'm going to stick a cheap graphics card in there. Make sure I can run M&M. 16 a month. How many months do you have to pay? Curious about that one. Is that like a 3-year or 5-year type thing? 12 months? Oh, badass. A wild Tovak. Thank you for appearing. What was I doing? I was grabbing latest. So I can check out this paper doll change because it's super handy. Man, it is Thursday again. How does this keep happening? It happens so quickly. All right. Got 16 gigs of RAM, 2 hard drives, onboard graphics for now. I need to buy more RAM, Justin. I only have 16 gigabytes of RAM as well. And my computer does not like me a lot of the time because of that. Wild Tovax, thank you for the Prime sub. Very kind of you. Justin said I have another desktop that's basically the same thing, but it's been stuck across the country for going on 9 months. So I figure if the laptop dies, I am screwed. That's definitely thinking ahead. Keep said I just got new RAM, changed my life, went from 2600 DD for 16 gigs to 3600 34 gig. It's like a new PC. It's literally, as the people say. Oh. It's literally on my things to do list. But it's like second to the last item on my things to do list. That's part of my later section. Not even immediate. Gucci Gouda, good morning. So it's on the list, buddy. I just need to do it. RAM's not even that expensive, is it? So when you bought RAM, you bought all new RAM, right? You didn't just add more RAM to what you had. All right. Let's check out this paper doll thing. Oh yeah, it'll be very handy because I just died for crap's sake. Let me make another macro, John, with the new tool. Flash. Keep said it was just all brand new and it was only 120 bucks Canadian. What's 120 bucks Canadian like these days? That used to be deceptively little money in American. So USD. Well, you've also got to understand that anything I buy it's going to be in Europe. So okay, you guys are 135 to the dollar. So yeah, like 88.91 is the cost. So yeah, I need to just get it. I don't think it's going to be that much more expensive or any more expensive necessarily since I'm in Germany. Oh, change icon to the monster. Okay. Drag. Yep. Okay. Cool. Let's go get my corpse in. Zone. Worms. Bane. Doom. Cool. Macro. Let's do. You win. Summon corpse. Cast. Summon corpse. So what are y'all doing today? What's going on? You guys doing the usual deal? Anybody still on vacation? I'll do this one. Girlfriend's at a conference. You're feral till Sunday. Nice. No bathing. No cleaning. Just getting weird. Let's look at that thing go. Is that the right slot? I think that's the one I want. Nice. It's probably quicker to right click, but it's I wanna test it. What is this, speed gem? Alright. Put it on. Is that double speed gem? Cool. So Golden Gloves is nursing a sick wife and child, slowly going more gray and bald. I can relate to the last part of that. Sakaj is back to normal. But you're here, so normal can't be too bad. Subnatural just wrapped up my vacay on Monday and did it using my new smoker on ribs and chicken. Well, that sounds fantastic. Tovax is staying home with sick kid. P99 later on. Man, you guys, hope all of your children's and families get feeling better. What are we doing? Whitechapel's still on vacation. Looking forward to my impending stack of broken things on Monday. Yeah, it does sound delightful. Oh, ignore the frame rate. Gucci said, try to get back in EQ and found you on here during that time, but it didn't take and I'm still in UO. That is UO, right? Let me look. Oh, hey, this is interesting. Is it a placement issue or a collision issue? Probably a placement issue. Probably just need to move it up a little bit. It's funny, I think Pattis made these more like square columns and put them in here a while back. Got some tipped over, etc. But just some simple square columns. But I like them a lot. They actually have a great effect. Again, I'm super into the very simple shape. That doesn't have much to do with much, but I figured I'd say it. Oh wait, I zoned. So let me hit my invulnerability macro. Oh, and my aggro macro. Thank you, the Pilgrim One, for getting getting the macro set up. Keep said, I live a simple life. I'm just waiting for the rust. I don't know why that word was about to be challenging. Rust wipe back to back is even more challenging. Jeez. So I can build a new base and kill everyone. Good to have goals in life. Especially simple ones like that. Let me write a couple notes while I'm in here. I've gotten in a bad habit of sometimes not writing certain notes because I'm gonna tackle them somewhere else, but I'm gonna tackle them here. I'm gonna put this over here on my top secret things to do list that you guys aren't allowed to see because then you'd know what I'm doing. Public test checklist. Oops, I let secret out. Public test checklist. Oh no, now you know. Now you know all about our future looking goals. Keep said, pretend there's stuff on this list that's important. Alright, Keep. You're right, it's not important. We don't need to do any public testing. Let me delete that off the list. There you go, folks. You have Keeps to thank. Oh, I'm not going to delete it. Don't pick on Keeps. Keeps, you messed up. Our list just says make game. So far, it's been going pretty well. I mean, Pazzy 160, we've sort of operated in that mode, but as we're getting more going on, as we're getting very specific goals that we want to hit, like friends and family testing we just hit, and then public playtest, we got to get a little bit more organized. I hate to do it. I hate being organized. But we've got to get a little bit more organized. We got to keep people a little bit more on track so we can knock out the things that we gotta eat our pudding before, or we gotta eat our meat before we get any pudding. We can't have any pudding before we eat our meat. So we're about to get a little more checklist focused. Hey, Ishiwatari. Justin, you will not have to go back and freeze frame and enhance. I didn't show the list. It's on my other monitor. Hey, Mantis Boxer. Just another brick in the Night Harbor wall. Whitechapel, thank you for at least acknowledging my reference. Guys, can you hear the music very well at all? I'm gonna turn it up. Yeah, it's low. I need to AFK for probably 2 or 3 minutes. And what I'm gonna do is let me minimize this. I'm gonna give you a nice scene here. What time is it in game here? We'll go time 4 p.m. So what I'll do is I'll go time set 3 p.m. I think that's a good time to start. We're going to do this. I'm going to let you see my character as well. Probably put you in here more like this so you can see stuff moving by. Cool. I'm not going to put up the AFK banner or anything like that so that you get as much of the screen on screen as possible. And then you can also see your chat and stuff. Please keep yourselves entertained. If I do this and I do options, can I actually see it? We'll do this at 80, but we'll turn this up to... Can you hear that better now? Cool. All right, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Look at that beautiful sunset in the background. We've updated the day-night cycle time. It was like 45 minutes before, 42 minutes, 45 minutes. Nick he'd been asking for us to push it to 72 for a while now. I'd say probably since we first started talking about it, he has suggested 72. So we're doing 72 now. And my thing with the day-night cycle was, Coding Caffeine, thank you for 7 months. The thing with the day-night cycle was I was always like thinking, well, I'd like to see a full day-night cycle in like under an hour play session. But let's get real. It's funny, after we made the change, we started talking about it. You guys aren't going to acknowledge this. You're not going to believe me. But the idea of people playing only 1 hour being in the minority is just, I think that's true. So you'll still get at least one day-night cycle. I've got the feeling you'll be able to play that long. So we're doing 72 now. It feels a lot better. And we'll just keep an eye on it. EQ, you say Mantis 30 minutes? I think EQ is actually more like 40 something minutes as well. Do you think 60 minutes is pretty good? Based on what? How is 60 minutes better than 72? What is the difference in those 12 minutes? 30 per day, 30 per night? What's 36 per day per night now? What we will see is Barbara Walters only needed 60 minutes, bro. That is a compelling argument. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. 10 minutes longer in each direction. It definitely helps with the thing that I care about the most. I'm mostly have like harped on wanting the dusk, like sunset, and dawn, like sunrise, to kind of stretch out as long as possible. And even with like the current one, I would still maybe make the argument that if there's a way to kind of artificially slow that part of it, which actually I think I was thinking about this the other day. One thing that may be speeding up or slowing down the sunrise and sunset may actually be the distance from which those objects are from the scene, right? Like if can I click on it? Will you let me click on you? Or is it, oh no, it's actually in here. Okay. I think it's in like one of these. Fairly certain. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's go to light. Honestly, I don't know how this works behind the scenes. Is the game ready to play? This cap, sorry. That's very strange caps combination. Magic Land. Zinrain, yep, that's our website. If you haven't heard of us, if you don't know anything about the game, then that's our website. This is our Discord. Chaos Flux says, yes, I was told access early 2023. So our goal is to have a public playtest in the first quarter of this year. Yeah. We currently have, we've brought in friends and family. We're getting some good feedback and, bugs and other stuff, so. So, Magic Land Official, I guess your answer is, we play it right now. We've got some folks in friends and family on our test server playing it as well. And then our goal is to... Yeah, I am always starving because my character is always just logged in. Our goal is to get more people in to help us with like a load test or something similar. Game Dev 2, creator of the game in my name, Magic Land Official. Magic Land Game. You got a link? Thought about Twitch integration. We've talked about Twitch integration, but what that actually means will be later on in life. Cool. SI bread. Cool. Oh, bread. Is it neither one of those? Okay, there they are. That's a little slow. Jin Chan's asked, is this a hobby or something you plan to make for real? It is something that we are making for real. If you go to the website, if you go to the FAQ page, you'll get an overview. If you go to the team page, you'll get backgrounds on the 13 other people that are working on this. Ethan says, is this a new update has been released for the Magic Land game and MMORPG that brings several innovations to the genre, helps support a world boss via Twitch chat, earn equivalent NFTs, and trade on the OpenSea market. Remember that the game is totally free to play for free right now. Ethan may be familiar with your game then. Cool, I got it. I got the link. I will click on it later. End SC2. Thank you for 8 months. All right. So let me check something really fast. I'm in here. Cool, Magic Land. I will be sure to do that. Cool. Black this out really quick. All right. Get that patching. Let me pop into Night Harbor while that's patching. And load the subscenes. I don't think I've done any work in Night Harbor since the subscenes went in. I really got to sit with Pattis and have him explain to me implications of making changes in any of the subscenes, so I can do some tinkering and bug fixing with them. Have we created a launcher? Yeah, we did create. We created a launcher. Ollie took a weekend and created a launcher because we were using a different launcher before, and we were just running into too many problems with it. If any of you out there work for the company Sola, we tried getting tech support, etc., and it wasn't really working for us. So Ollie made a new launcher, and it's good. Any problems with antivirus or Windows Defender? Not that we have heard from our testers yet. Not that I know of. But I'm also not the tech peoples. I am not the tech people. Oh, you know what? Now that I think about the way that Simon's got this set up, I wonder if this is going to be a big interior down here, like a kind of a warehouse type interior. I can picture that, like basically having this all be structure under here. If that's what he's doing, that's going to be pretty cool. I can't wait to see it. So let's see if I can notice any new stuff. But wait, I think Simon's been traveling. Let me look and see if he's been checking anything in. I'm talking in Slack right now. I guess that's not the best form with regards to streaming, especially when there's no music in the background for you guys. Sorry about that. Let me get back into where there's some music. But what I run into is these 3 hours that we spend together. There's a lot of shit going on in Slack or in private sort of team discussion that I'm either fully focused on you. Ooh, here's another one that's gonna be badass under here. Simon, wherever you are out there, you've got a lot of interiors to do, my friend. Ooh. Excited. I'm excited to see how he's going to approach that. Definitely excited to see that. And I know our boy Pattis has been over here doing excellent work. Oh, ooh, did he move this? It's a little bit sneakier over here now. Yeah, he did. A little bit sneakier. Yep, teleport pads, they definitely teleport. Your city is nuts? Yeah, our city is a bit nuts, but you know what? I swear to you. I swear to you that it's gonna look nuts, it's gonna seem nuts, it's gonna be nuts for quite a while, and then at some point it's going to come together and you guys are going to be like, damn, your city's really dope. And it's true. It is true. Wow, someone loves Pro Builder. Okay, so that's the second Pro Builder comment. So Ethan said, assuming that was mocked up with Pro Builder, and Cyber Angel 67 said someone loves Pro Builder. So where we started was we started with Blender originally, back when it was just the four of us, Ollie, Bunny, Nick, and me. And this zone way over there was just like a plane in Blender, and I was teaching myself Blender because we didn't have any artists on the team at the time. And we just started like hacking away, and we made Shaded Dunes in a really sort of janky Night Harbor placeholder city. And then going into year 2, so at the end of year 1, we got Zukin and Pattis and Goblin on the team on the art side. Zen Rain, thank you for the follow. And so with with actual artists on the team, we started making actual art. But the thing that we're wanting to do is try to keep the geometry feeling as like old school as possible. So even these, it's funny, I look at them and I know they meet the criteria, but they kind of look round to me. But I think they're probably fine. I don't know. We may look at them again later. But the goal is to enforce constraints on us that make it so that the geometry winds up looking as sort of late 90s, early 2000s as possible. And that is why we're in Pro Builder now. So what we'll wind up doing is continue to build in Pro Builder. Then we'll pull all of it back into Maya, clean up everything, then re-import the FBX or whatever. And that's kind of our workflow so far. So the goal is to keep in mind, these are all placeholder textures. Very little, if anything, maybe some of the wood or whatever, is final texture. Some of the ground texture is pretty okay. But pretty much everything's placeholder textures for now. The goal is to go with very simple, stylized in a way where it looks simple and classic, geo, and then really nice, better looking textures. Yeah. Could do modern graphics with an optional PS1 old school graphic shader to not have to think about it. I don't know if that is. I can't process that right now. But I'm thinking that sounds like something Ollie would be excited about. He's very excited about the PS1 look. I'm not for this game. So really it's more about just shape language than it is necessarily trying to hit the old shader look. We want the textures to look as nice as possible. So, you know, when I look at textures that, again, we had some commissioned, and I personally like this quality of texture a lot, right? So the woman that made these textures is not a 3D artist. She's not a 3D artist. She is a illustrator, painter, and did these for us early on. And she's done some other textures, and I really dig it. So that is where we've been heading there. Let me double check and see. All right, launch game. It'll run a bit smoother with me in here. Development server. Druid quest. There's no Popeye forearms. Get out of here with that forearm stuff. Body shaming. What a body shamer. I just don't want to be reminded of WoW. Well, if that little bit of something reminds you too much of WoW, then I think that may be a you problem, Chaos. I don't want to pick on you, but I think that may be a you problem. Have you seen old WoW characters? If you're saying we're even in the ballpark, WoW, human, classic. Not saying we're not going to potentially tweak models and stuff as we go. I mean, geez Louise, we're very early in our process still, right? But Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know that we're hearkening in on that. Come on now. You were fine playing EQ2, but all your friends want to play WoW. I'll totally admit to playing WoW. When WoW came out, it was clearly the best game out. Will the load times be reduced during development? Probably, Nadir. Probably. You've got to realize that things are pretty early and nothing's really been optimized. There's some stuff I think going on with how Unity packages stuff up. I don't want to misspeak, but Ollie was just explaining this to me in terms of like how we actually, and maybe he was just talking about build times for that one. Maybe it's not load times. But essentially there are some things that we can do both in how we structure our assets behind the scenes, but then there's a lot of just optimization that we can do. The zone that we were just loading into is that giant big ass crazy zone that I was just showing you over here, which may eventually become more than one zone. We've already got it broken up into sub-scenes. If you look over here on the right, can you see that? I never watched the stream. Okay. So I'm looking out. So you see over here on the right how we've got the sub-scenes here? It's because we wanted to be able to have more than one artist work in here without many problems at once, like in a city. And what we may find is over time that we divide this zone into a couple more zones just to help us optimize, right? So in theory, we could divide it in half right now. Right, so we could probably go along here somewhere and put a zone line. So we've got newbie yard to, maybe just past the market, and we put in our zone line, and then we go in there. Or we could be crazy and have garrison and a naval yard and the market in a zone and another. You know what I mean? Like, so there are options for us because we're embracing zone-based gameplay and a zone-based design. So that plus all of the other optimizations that we're just not even messing with at the moment. But when you look at this, another thing that'll come up in terms of just sort of why we may, though, honestly, I guess we'll see. Custom culling with subscenes may work well. So I'm not the tech guy. For those of you that are new here, hop into our Discord if you're ever like, if you think anything I say sounds kind of like wacky or false, or a lot of times I'll just kind of like hand wave and be like, oh, we're going to use programming magic made by elves and gnomes to make that not a problem. If you're like, oh, that sounds like bullshit, and you're not really instilling confidence in me that you guys know what you're doing, it's just because I'm not the guy to do it. I'm just sort of like a quasi frontman, designery, producery type that is pretending to be art director as well. And so to everybody on the team's joy and amazement. So anyway, a lot of stuff that I'll say is just kind of my best understanding of how something's being done. If you want to really get into the technical weeds or ask questions, Ali and the guys are really good about answering questions in Discord. We try to stay engaged with Discord as much as possible, just because we like you guys, and there's a lot of stuff that we can't answer while streaming that's easier to answer when we're just typing, right? So hit us up in Discord. Those of you that are interested in hearing about the details of incoming public playtests, be sure to be on the mailing list. The people that we have in Discord, the people that we have on the mailing list, the people that we have subscribed on our YouTube channel, give us a rough gauge of the level of interest. Zoidberg said, damn, this looks like an Assassin's Creed city. This city, this may wind up being the only one we make this big. We'll see. But this city is meant to live for many years and provide you with many experiences, lots of memories. So yeah, we're going hard on it, and we'll see. Maybe it's crazy. Maybe it'll prove to be rad. We'll see. Reb Chumley said, I really should spend more time in Discord. It's a fun space. Yeah, people in there are really cool to each other. If they're not cool to other people, then I'm just going to ban them. So keep that in mind if you're not a cool person. And people are cool to each other. We have good conversations. It's a nice little community. I think it's whatever it is. It's like 1,500 people or something. But it's not spammy. And people aren't dicky. So... not a cool person, straight to jail. Yes. Yes, we do. We'll put you straight. You'll be sitting in here. Where's the jail? Jail. More jail. Damn it. Why am I so bad at finding the jail every single time? It's not like it moves. I thought I'd be able to find it faster from the outside because I thought there were windows looking out of the jail. That was the whole idea behind the joke of putting people in jail and having them look out and not be able to play. Oh, there it is. There are the windows. Jail. Other wall. Yep. What is the name of the city? It is Night Harbor. Straight to jail. We need a jail cam. I want to have a 24-hour stream that's basically just sitting on our server. And maybe one time it'll be the jail cam. It'll just be, this is what gameplay will look like if you come in and you get banned. We're just gonna freeze your character looking out this window, all sad and unable to speak or play the game until you cancel your sub. Stone bars, though? Someone's going to break out of that pretty quickly. Zoidberg, did you come in after the whole everything is a placeholder texture part of this? Darga said, I feel like questions like, what's the name of the city is just legit traps for Sean. Why, do you think I'm going to name the wrong city? What's the name of the city? Unreal. Oh my god, I did it again. I'm just messing with you, Zoidberg. Cool. So let's minimize this and... how many... oh, what am I missing? What am I missing? Well, first of all, I need to go buy spells because when I was playing the other day, I've got my a sack of bat wings. Got some bat fur to sell. Got a rattlesnake skin to sell. Did I didn't find any cloth or anything yet. What a nerd. I don't want to mess your name up, so correct me after I say it. Is it Yolakasi? Yolakasi said, hi, I'm new here. How long have you been working on this project? Sounds right. A lot of people do that. They're like, I don't know. I don't say it out loud. We've been working on it for just over 2 years. We started, well, I guess it's a bit over 2 years, huh? We started in like day one in Discord, you know, the three of us, 4 of us going, hey, you want to make this game? And then starting to just like, talking to each other. Oh, we should all talk together, blah, blah, blah. That was happening around September of 2020. If you go to our YouTube channel, we've got the video when you first land there. It's like I think it's like a 6-minute video or something like that. It will show you like all of our basic art and everything from the very first. Here, I'll put it up here. mute it. So this video, it'll run you through 2020 all the way up until when it was posted 3 months ago. It shows, this is a little heartwarming moment. These were like the first messages in like DMs and Discord, like, hey, want to make an MMO? Yeah, want to make this MMO. We've been talking about it on stream, so it'll show you like just exactly all of the progress through all of this shit over the course of the last 2 years. So we've got many. I think in the first year we don't have as many of the videos like posted in our overall like list of videos, but we do have a lot, especially going into year 2. But yeah, you can basically see exactly how we spun this up, how it grew, things that we were focusing on, all of that. So check it out there. And yeah, that's the journey. You may notice that it is dark, but that's just because I haven't bought any torches. How would you define it as old school? So there's the sort of overt, superficial stuff in terms of art style. Like if you look at our art style, we're going with a blockier art style, but higher res textures. I mean, when you don't look at our placeholder textures. But the approach is going with the old school sort of blockier art style that's slightly stylized, but also trying to keep it in the realm of reality. So a bit like fantastic realism. And he doesn't want these though, I don't think. Okay. And then like the core loops, the gameplay is very much a game that embraces like camping in a dungeon. There's no hand holding in terms of, there's no quest interface. There's no mini map. When you interact with NPCs, assuming we do that, you may see it. It's very much, if you want to interact with an NPC, you type it in just like you would in an old RPG or text-based RPG, or in, kind of late 90s, early 2000s MMORPG. Gameplay is a lot more, it's slower with no real strong emphasis on rotations or anything like that, but instead it's more about tactics and understanding the stuff that you do have on cooldown. You actually want to think about using it at an appropriate time instead of like just spamming cooldowns. Yeah, so it's basically just going back to a number of things that were pretty common back then, and embracing them, and also like taking it and Ollie's here. Hey Ollie. Ollie said use your abilities at inappropriate times. Do it. I used to just hit taunt and kick. Anyway, where was I with it? Anyways, I think I've rambled enough. The stuff that we liked about those older games that maybe games post WoW didn't do as much or at all, we're not only including them here, but really trying to go deep on a lot of it. Keeping pool aggro similar to EQ2, Halaman asked. Yeah, we're doing, there is some slight differences there, but generally speaking, I think if what you're picturing is going to be in a ballpark. Molly Scald said, I feel like Final Fantasy XI was certainly old school, though the character designs were a bit more fantastic. Yep. And don't get me wrong, we will, if you've seen some of our concepts and stuff like that, we play around in the area of, fantastic to fantastic realism. Sometimes it's to folks' discomfort. Sometimes it's, something that we're looking at and like, is this too far? But if you go on our Discord here and check out, I think it's Art Update channel, you'll see concept art for classes, concept art for races, all sorts of fantastic art. Goblins put some really great stuff up there. I want that damn spell that... No. Unfortunately, I'm not getting any of these protection spells yet because we need to make them worthwhile still. Moonflame is what I want. Damn, spells aren't playing around anymore. Could I afford it? Did I get it? What just happened? I did. Oh. Ollie, I'm playing on dev server right now with the regular client, and it feels like there's a bit of lag. Is that a known issue? Is this Naked Communion? What in the world? What you talking about, Ollie? Oh, you're doing stuff on dev server? It's probably why. Okay. Look at the druids behind me. Are they naked? Nope, I don't see any naked. Can my troll warrior kick with both feet simultaneously? Oh man, it's crazy that you've asked that question, Justin Beard, because now that image is not going to leave my mind, and Nick's going to get really annoyed with me going, Nick, we got to add double kick. Nick, can we add double kick? Wouldn't it just be a drop kick? No, a drop kick would be like wrestling, where you're going double kick with horizontal body, right? What we're talking about, and my fingers aren't going to do it properly because they don't bend in that direction. But it's kind of like, you know how you kick, but you're not horizontal. At least I don't kick that way. Maybe it's like boom, you would jump up with both feet. And double kick. No, not the crane move. The crane move is 1-2. That's a crane kick. We could add that separate. That's a whole nother... Yeah, it's like a Russian dance, Zoidberg. It's like a Cossack... My dog's from Moscow. So we got our dog from Moscow. And he's this tiny... He's a Klekai, so he's a miniature husky. And he's feisty as hell, right? And... he gets aggro when he sees other dogs and tries to like bow up on him because he's this big, but he's a husky. And he kicks his back legs out one at a time so damn straight. And it's just like so aggressive, and he pauses. And we call that the Cossack kick. It's like he's doing the Cossack dance, only backwards. You probably don't care, but I love my dogs, so that's why I'm going to tell a story about them. Alright, so I need a fire beetle. I think we went looking for fire beetles before. I'm a druid. Why am I going so slow? Oh, because I'm a low-level druid. Okay. Is there a Cossack kick dance? YouTube. Cossack kick dance. I'm gonna hit this, and I'm gonna hit pause immediately. I'm gonna turn the the volume's down. We're gonna look. These guys don't look like they're gonna be able to pull it off. Okay, wait, I think this guy may be pulling it off. Double kick! Double kick! Double kick! Double kick! That dude just double kicked 3 skeletons to pieces. I think this video may have changed my entire opinion about having a dancer class. What? They have swords. These guys are dancing with swords. These guys are not playing around. Well, I mean, I don't think that part was exceptionally dangerous, but... Can we get back to some double kicks, please? I feel like we're wasting our time with these swords. If you've got the ability to do this... These guys' knees. I wonder what the life... What? Spinning kick. We should put the dancer class in, but the camera has to stay behind your character the whole time. Only those with the strongest stomachs would be able to play it. Double kick. Double kick. Now just picture that being a troll, right? That was... Justin Beard, that was the goal. For your troll to look like this. Unless we're just picturing very different thing. Correct? Okay, good. Cool. Let me... Too far away to use that ability. Oh, come on. Moonflame incoming. Oh. I like the hand particles too. Zoidberg says, I can just imagine a dancer class not contributing anything to the group. Everyone is fighting a mob and it's dancing by itself in the corner. Yeah, but wouldn't that be inspiring? So it'll wind up inspiring you to do better. They're a buff class. So it's a bard. Yes, except that it dances. And it spins. Maybe you secretly give bards dance moves? That may be a better approach. Belly dancer class. I think that worked good for ogres. Ogres may be OP though. Somehow I think it would inspire people to kick the dancer out of the group. Catchy? If they're not a fun group, but then is that really a group that you'd want to be in anyway? Come on now. Dude, that last little bit of health was not going to go away. But I got what I needed. All right, let's go. Blah, blah, blah. Let's go turn this in. Female ogre belly dancer with silks on. Mantis, have you seen the concepts of our female ogres? I don't know that that would necessarily be a bad thing. Our female ogres are not hideous by any means. What level will your ogre bard get the breakdance ability? Squishy mustard. It's just so it's too soon to tell. You haven't seen the evil races. You gotta go to our Discord. You gotta look in art update and scroll up. Scroll up there. Gotta camp the ability drop. Yep. It's the secret quest, which is secret. Cool. All right. Sorry, I just keep ignoring you guys today. I know it's not. Then again, you know what? I think I overthink that part of it because I watch other people's streams where they're not just talking the whole damn time like I do, and I actually enjoy those streams. I enjoy those streams. Golden Gloves asks, Robot, which features are you most looking forward to implementing in 2023? That's a trick question. I don't really implement any features, Golden Gloves. See, you guys keep trying to trick me today. Now, what am I most excited about the programmers implementing and us working on in 2023? 23, that's a long time. What feature am I most scared of? What feature am I most scared of? I may actually have to stop moving and think for a second if you guys want legit answers to these questions. I think the biggest challenge is ahead of us. And I say challenge because I don't want to say scared of, because I don't know that I'm scared of any of them. That may be dumb on my end, but I'm not scared of them. The biggest challenges that we have in 2023. I think the first challenge that we're going to look at is we've got Friends and Family that's started. That's already been going on for well over a week now. And that's actually it's been going a lot better than I think most people would expect or whatever. And so we're really optimistic about going into our first public test, which will really, maybe this will change. But in my opinion, I think the first public test is really just going to be meant to answer the first challenge, which is what happens when we apply load to our systems. And so that'll be a question. Some of that will be how does our patcher work in terms of, like, you know, and again, I'm speaking slightly out of term with some of these because it's not necessarily the area where I'm focused. It's tech, but looking at, you know, just with our current setup, is there anything we don't understand or don't have accounted for with regards to, like, the CDN or whatever, blah 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 words. So can people get the game without any problem? Cool, because that's the first step in having the next playtest and future playtest, and it's a good learning moment. Then the next big sort of curiosity will be whether or not we have any, like, sort of concrete themes of issues with regards to compatibility. Like, is it running, and what's it kind of running like on people's machine, right? But at this stage, we also know we're not optimized. And then the big question from that first playtest will just be like, what's our server? How do our servers and our networking stack look? And if we come out of that with inevitably, I mean, it's possible everything runs really great, you know, knock on wood. Cool. Odds are we'll find something, we'll learn something, and then we'll look and see, is that just some shit that we need to fix, which we're constantly doing. We're constantly breaking stuff or finding broken stuff and then fixing it. DEA Greek, thank you for 4 months. So that's normal. Like, we've been doing that since the very beginning. We're constantly like, oh, this is working, and then we'll do something. Oh, it's not working as good as I'd like, you know, or oh, we found some shit and it's broken, and then Ollie goes in, heads down, and fixes something, or one of the guys goes in and fixes it. So the big curiosity is what happens when we actually do MMO shit with our MMO. Because right now we're doing multiplayer with no problems, or no massive problem. We're finding issues with, you know, we'll find issues with grouping here or there or whatever, and so we'll fix that. So that's the first one. Other big challenges this year. I think on the art production side, it'll be really nice to start getting our more finalized textures and propping going on to kind of see, you know, do we have a good grasp on our art style? Do we have the ability to make what we need, and how much of a impact is that going to be as we scale? But we're going for an art style that is designed in a way to allow us to work with a smaller team and you know, have more minimal asset requirements, but our textures are a beast, right? So yeah, performance will always be something we're working on. Like I think I've said a ton before, you know, Ollie's goal is to have this thing run on a toaster, and we're going to provide settings for people to be able to go from, like, you know, looking at something like this is like, all right, this is maxed out, so you could probably bring it down even further and be good to run it on your toaster or whatever. So yeah, so Ollie, hopefully if you have been listening to any of that, then all of that kind of makes sense. And you just answered, whose question was that? It was BDC Retros. And so, you know, getting kind of pulling the more final art together will be a big learning moment for us. And then, you know, when you say like what new features or what new systems, there's stuff that there's a lot that's going to happen this year. Just because we're hoping to have, you know, the bulk, if not all, of our core systems and features done, and really turn it into more about improving things, fixing bugs, looking at future looking plans, and just making more content. And so the things that we've got left, you know, we're going to be looking at fixing our boats so they come back. We're going to have player housing, which we've got sort of the basic, you know, I could put a volume in one of these buildings that has a door at the moment and make it so that only you have the key and only you can get in the volume and shit like that. So we can already do some of that. It'll be interesting to see what approach we land on with regards to, you know, a house as a world container. Yeah, the druids are definitely naked. It's an Amy thing. I think she just wants naked druids for now. And so big things that are left. There's mounts. There's, you know, our wackier ideas of like pack animals and mounts, and being able to have carts and wagons and some shit like that we'll dig into. Let's see. We've got guild functionality that we need to get in, but to me that's not scary in the least. We'll be looking at trade skills and seeing, you know, where we want to go with those ultimately and stuff beyond what we've got in now, if at all. We've got some tools in the background that we may talk about and, you know, bring online over time to make interaction a little bit more interesting or beefier. But again, guys, we're not doing any super crazy shit here so far, so it's pretty straightforward. If you look at the list, if you go to the website and then you go to FAQ and then you click on the roadmap link, that roadmap's not really as much a roadmap as it is kind of just a deconstruction of the game. And you'll see we haven't really been talking about anything that's not on there. And if you look on there, there's nothing crazy. A lot of what we're wanting to do is really, it's a lot of content. It's content focused. It's taking things like, those of you that are super new here or don't know, like we've got this look button. It's telling me I am in Night Harbor because I'm, you know, if I hit look and there's nothing crazy going on, then it'll tell me I'm in Night Harbor. If I look in here, I wonder if it's different. Oh, it is. Now, there's a bunch of description in here, Amy, if you're watching, that is not necessarily going on. And it may look like it's... Yeah. Okay, so no, it's actually applicable to here. But then we've got a whole slew of commands of different types of text-based interaction commands that, you know, gives us a lot of stuff that we can do. And we're talking about stuff that we want to get in even before the public playtest to give you a little more stuff to play around with. But it's really just about making a deep MMO that happens to have these characteristics, as Mantis Boxer just said. Let me look again on my item. All right, rolling. Where are you at? I'm in the right guild, ain't it? You know? Oh, I think he moves around during the day. Do we plan on having character-created chat channels implemented? I believe so, but maybe with certain restrictions. We'll have to... We haven't talked about chat in a lot of detail. There's some things that we want to play around with chat. UI is a big thing that we're going to wind up eventually focusing on this year. We haven't spent a lot of time on UI, and there's some work that needs to be done there. As I think folks have mentioned before, maybe not on stream though. We're currently using like a hodgepodge of like 4 different UIs behind the scenes, and so we're gonna want to consolidate that and bring it all into one system, and then we'll be working on UI aesthetics. You can see here, this is very much like a concept, and we're primarily just working on core functionality. And the stack. Done well. Ollie, I made a bug. I think I made a bug. I'll have to double check. No, actually, I didn't make a bug for it. I just asked in Slack, but I didn't hear a response. I don't know that our delays are actually using the millisecond value that we put in, because most delays in chat that I've seen in the quest text are a minimum 1500 milliseconds. I've been bumping them up to 3000 milliseconds. Oh, it does? So, did that seem like... Let's look at this one real quick. Pork Bunker and Quarrel, thank you for the follow. Let me... You really responded? I didn't see it. Where did I put it? Tools? Quest? I'll look in both. Quest. Okay, you did. Blah, 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 blah. Yield return. Wait for seconds. Millisecond divided by 1000 F seems to be correct. Nope. You actually, you said it. So let's look at what just happened there. So NPC quest. Okay, this is Pork Funker. Oh, your name is going to get me at some point. And as much as I love the swine, that would be a slip. Speaking of Pork Funker, I'm going to answer your question in 1 second. No joke. I meant to send a message to my wife earlier because I've got everything for dinner except for a pork tenderloin. Could you grab a pork tenderloin And some mozzarella, please, on the way home. And then I will give her a kiss with a heart. Boom. Pork Funker actually did save the day. Thank you for that. You really did. Sakaj, that's no joke. So your question was, is this going to be old school, no instant dungeon, something like old school EQ or Deoc and etc.? Yes. No instant dungeons. We've already got a non-instant dungeon in. Tell her the store scares you like I was telling you. It does. UK Rad said, I wish Fat Poops was here. I miss hearing you say Fat Poops. Dude, there's so many poop names that come in here. And you guys are like 35 years old. I'll make this smaller so I don't ruin it. We'll go roll in. Okay. So I just gave them here. So each one of these was supposed to be 1500 milliseconds, Ollie. So unless, I mean, I went to public high school in southern Alabama. So never put it past me to screw this up, but 1500 milliseconds would be 1.5 seconds. Which would be 1 Mississippi, 2 Missa. 1 Mississippi, 2 Missa. Right? Between each of these. 1 Mississippi, 2 Miss. This shit, it seemed like it just flowed out. Gadabouting said, we say LA for Lower Alabama today to sound cooler. We said LA for Lower Alabama back in the 90s. People be like, where are you from, dog? LA. LA, son. West Side. West Side. LA? Yeah, Lower Alabama. Going down to the Redneck Riviera. Hey. Going down. Where are you going? Going down Panama. What are you guys doing this weekend? Going down, hang out Club La Vila. Sharkies. PBC. Yeah, so imagine it was like the beginning of like hardcore gangster rap, and I was in Lower Alabama, LA. What my Straight Outta Compton t-shirt. Yeah, so something's up, Ollie. I swear there's no way that it's fully doing that. I wonder if it's something weird where the code says that it should be 1.5 seconds, but then the server's like, I hear you, dog, but that's not how we're gonna do this. Or the client, I guess. Because it just seems fast to me. And especially with us having like sort of like these things, there's enough going on that we want to kind of pace them. So that's why I was thinking about it. Maybe it's I live in the future. Could be. That might be the problem. Boom! 725. Thank you for the follow. All right, so what did this dude just tell me to do? He gave me this questionable item. Wooden circle token. A wooden token inscribed with a pair of hands holding a sprouting seedling. I was told to bring it to Colada Acacia Thorn. Colada Acacia Thorn? I'm gonna assume she's in here somewhere. I didn't read the whole text. I can't read all the text because oh, I think I know where she is. Just because I'm on stream with you guys. If I read the whole text, it would both be potentially a spoiler for your experiences later. But also it'd be, me mouthing words for 15 minutes again. Public high school. Should I not make that kind of joke? I'm sorry. I get nervous on stream, so I just make a lot of bad jokes. Is this stream really about game development? Software and game development? Kind of. Kind of. To find people in the city will be like quest within quest. Yeah. That is the fun of it. It's okay as long as you don't start throwing those Lower Alabama gang signs. I actually know some. There she is up there. Man, the 90s in LA was rough, son. Lower Alabama. It's funny when we were teenagers, we couldn't wait to get out of Alabama. It was like, man, can't wait to get out of here. I'm not gonna talk like that anymore. Blah, blah, blah. And then like most of the guys I know that have been successful and like live in California or Washington or whatever, they're all like, anytime you see them, it's just straight like Roll Tide t-shirts. They're everything Alabama tattoos because we all got out to the rest of the world, and then it was like, guys, now the power of being a novelty. Here I am sitting in Germany with not a single Alabama t-shirt. Look at me. Hey, lady. Don't worry, this is the male face. Just happens to be on the female. Those of you that are new here, it's all very much a work in progress. We've got some new faces in progress. Weltmacht said, never change it. It's stunning. It's beautiful. Alright, here, lady. I didn't read the quest text, but I think this is what's supposed to happen. She said, seems as if you've been training initiate, but this task requires someone a little more seasoned than you are. Come back when you have more experience. Oh, man. Alright. I gotta come back later. I'm not high enough level yet. We didn't ship Capsule Men, no. We don't have a lot of fall damage yet. That'll be another thing that we work on later is our actual character controller. It's a little wonky at the moment. Oh, have you guys seen our wisps? I'll wait till the sun goes down. I think they'll have a better impact. Let me see if I can get up somewhere so we can watch the sun go down really quick. You be quiet, bird. Say wisps 3 times fast, please. Sanavek, why do you hate me? Hey, John. Right as I say that, John appears. BDC Retro said Zook had them up in the tool. Haven't seen them in game yet. Oh, cool. So we'll see them here. They're not fully animated. Let me make a note. Let me add that to my notes. Yes. Oh, you know what I need to add to my damn note? You know what is a good note for public test checklist? Team play test in which we all look at stuff that bug us and make checklist. We always do that during playtests on the other games I've worked on. It's like, all right, we're about to do whatever milestone or whatever release or whatever. Then we'd all get in and just play and like come up with a shitload of lists. We'd consolidate the list. We'd turn that into the hit list. I didn't even think to say it. Wisps, wisps, wisps. There you go, Sanovac. I just snuck that one out. You can't get me. You can't. I've got the feeling someone has a new ringtone in their life. What did I take note of? I just made a note. I was making notes about some of the little animations and stuff that I saw. Hit list, gang signs, tattoos. What is this channel turning into? Well, LA, Lower Alabama. Come back for the Panama City special. Hot tub stream. Let's get up here, watch the sun go down. Boom. So Ali, I made a list. I was just writing down like little things like that I was noticing, like the Ashira walk anim and the Ashira cloth isn't animated yet, and the rat walk anim. The wisps need their animation still. So I'm just like making notes of that to make sure that it's somewhere. I think we've already got this stuff on checklist, but Nick's putting together the new checklist. That was my question in Slack to us, Ali, was Nick had mentioned building a new checklist similar to the other one and consolidating some, because he and I were talking about it after you disappeared in the rain the other day, and basically pull the stuff that we had from friends and family into new checklists, or I guess maybe we just update that checklist, and maybe that's going to be easier. And then we look at that so that we've got a good understanding of priorities and stuff. But one of the things that's helpful that I don't know that we've done, maybe we have and I'm just not thinking of it, or maybe we've done it indirectly, is it was always helpful on other teams that I was on for us to basically just have like a session of playtests. So like, hey, we're going to playtest for today. And everybody creates a list of everything that they notice that's like bugging them or not, you know, broken or whatever. And then we consolidate all those lists. We go through, we reduce the dupes. We look at what people have on there. We then prioritize that for folks, and then we put it back out. So I do like the longer day-night cycles impact on the sunset a fair bit. And then it gives us this moment, you know, there's a period now where we have a few more minutes where sun's down, but it's not dark yet. So I'm happy with the change so far. Dawn dusks are definitely the best. Wispy wisp. Wisping wispily. I can't say that one. BDC Retro, it is now 72 minutes. It was 45. So we're going to look at that for a while and kind of see how it feels. Oh man, that sound, the nighttime like tree sound, freaks me out sometimes a little bit when I forget about it, when I'm not expecting it. So the wisps don't have their, you know, sort of zigzaggy movement yet. But they're in and they've got light. We got to get them. I don't know if we're going to do it in an anim. Maybe we do it in an anim, or if it should be done in the way it's built. But we'll also have them, you know, a little spinny. Mantis Boxer. The reason why you think that would be a fun thing to say is because you get to type it in, you're not actually saying it. No fair. Which light? This light. Damn, John. Are you like this in real life? Because if you are, then... Worse? You don't filter as much? Nice. Yeah, dude, you're great. The dad jokes are so just constantly on point. Prime number 23. John's very quick with the dad joke. John, is that what's going on? Thanks for encouraging me. This can only end well. Will they keep the globe around them and just have the spikes? They have spikes. They'll keep the globe around them. I don't understand the question. VDC Retro. I don't have a light source, so I'm trapped in this building forever. Okay. Oh, I filter better than I used to. I gotta buy a torch, Mantis. I've gotta buy a torch. What mode do you guys usually play in? Third person or first person? I'm guessing most people are third person. Imagine if we didn't have to filter, we could accomplish so much more, Prime Number says. I think the main problem is just, you know, people have feelings. Veltmoxted. First, because I play on Tech P. Fair enough. How long does the torch last? And I play on both. I'd have to look. I don't know offhand. Polymorph says first person. Justin Beard says first person. John, third person while running around. First in dungeons type situations. Fair. I think that's me as well. Gadabouting. First for pulling mobs always. Third for chill. Makes sense. Radnor, both quick switch between them. Golden Gloves third. Vikaj third always. Okay. Let me buy a torch. I'll buy a torch. Third gives you more situational awareness. First is better for positioning. Yeah. Inverse doesn't have first person. It's a huge miss on their part. Oh, maybe they can add it though. Hallfunk. Do they have? Are there dungeons? Are there dungeons tight, or are they like pretty big corridors and stuff? Second person gives the best theatrical effects when you enter the room. All right. Oh, that was the lantern. I was like, holy, wow. Torches, lanterns, torches got expensive. $9 silver. I'm just gonna go not have a torch. That's too rich for my blood for right now. Playing fourth person. Why did I say poisoned? The one where the camera is right behind the visible eyeballs of the head. $9 silver's heavy on the pockets, not enough bat teeth. So I really do want to find another one of those bat tooths. Oh, I think I see myself a staff. That'll solve my money problems, probably. I'll keep fizzling. I really like what Zukin did with those hand effects on that one. And, I mean, also the beam coming down. We'll have to look at the duration of the light on that one. What we got going on here? Yep, I'm rich now. Maybe add some finger waggling? We don't have fingers. We don't have fingers. We could simulate it. I want to go see how much this damn staff is worth. Right now it's I got 428 and it is a smasher of 533. Loot expensive item, trigger random bandit attacks you, so you sell it. Don't be shocked if something like that happens. I think this guy will buy a weapon. I forget. 1 platinum. That is so much money. While it is referential, don't be shocked if we wind up nerfing that. Alright. Now I can afford a torch. I'm just not going to buy one. Kind of a caster joke. Old days they called casters finger wigglers. Oh, I know. One of my coworkers, his wife almost got in trouble. Because she had never played EverQuest before. It was a guy that joined our company to work on DC Universe Online, and he'd never played any MMOs before. And so they started playing WoW, and then his boss was like, "Hey, you need to play some EverQuest though. If you're going to be working on the game, you got to understand some EverQuest." So he and his wife started playing EverQuest, and she made a gnomish wizard, and she named herself Fingerbang. And somehow it made it through the initial, like, you know, GMs on duty see names come up and approve or deny them or whatever. So she was playing for a bit before I guess she got reported. And like why did I hit that button? They were, I guess, shocked that that name drew some heat. She was like, "No, but it was because, you know, bang, I'm a wizard, bang." I was like, I think you know what you're doing. I'm pretty sure that's what the GM said as well. Pretty sure the GM was like, I think you know what you're doing. Ah, good times. Oh, you know what? Now that I got this fat platinum from a cracked staff, I guess I could probably get a backpack and stop being so janky. Funny enough, finger guns probably would have been auto-rejected. Yeah, I can see that. I can see it. She was pretty funny. He was not my favorite person to work for, but she was pretty funny. Fire beetle leg, bat wing. Yep. And what was I carrying around here? What is this on the ground? Radier, he'll buy that. Oh. Oh yeah, that's right. I don't know if that's intended. Let me make a note about that. Because it looks like I got stuff queued. Somehow I had things queued in my inventory overflow, maybe? Do items stack in inventory overflow, and if you drop them, all drop at once? Question mark. Mantis says, I've seen EQ allow some crazy names like WoW. They let that guy stay with that name, and then other ones with something too similar to something they won't allow. It's so subjective. It was such a pain in the ass when I first got in the company and was doing customer service, because it was so subjective. And we would have, you know, you would go onto a server and maybe the GM was cool with it before, and now you've got like you got some level 60 dude named Tiggle Bitties whose name you can't change because he's very public, and then eventually he becomes a legend and everybody loves him. But he'll in my mind he will always be Tiggle Bitties, whose name I so desperately wanted to change. Stanovac, thank you for the follow. Never heard of him? Jeff Kaplan. Uncle Jeff, Daddy Jeff, or whatever people called him while he was still at Blizzard. I remember a character, yep, leader of Legacy of Steel. Leader, right? Flake and Bake. Nice guy. Just the name was like, come on, man. Because here's the challenge. If that name exists, and then you got like, all right. So like the surname Shadowbane, and then you've got somebody with the surname Shadowbane, and their name gets nerfed because maybe it's referencing the game, though I would say Shadowbane's just a name. And then, so Shadowbane gets nerfed, and Tiggle Bitties exists, right? And so then when a player points that out to you, you're kind of like, I know. Oh, I totally forgot to go buy back. There was a big row over a name in Anarchy Online, really popular, helpful engineer named Slag. After a couple years, someone complained about his name, saying it was derogatory slag in the UK. Or derogatory slang in the UK. I mean, that's not even English. It doesn't mean anything bad in American. But then again, AO wasn't in America either, was it? Where are they based out of? Norway? Pork Funker remembered a guy in EQ named Kraken Hall. I'm noticing sort of a porcine theme with you. But you know, I say that, but it wasn't my name, dude. Oh, I'm not saying it was your name, but you remember the name. Like, that name stood out to you. You remembered the name. I'm not saying it was you. I'm just saying you're like, looked at him. Franken Hogs, you gave him that sort of nod. That knowing nod. That nod of approval. I feel you, brother. Yeah, fun. So one of the guys I worked with on EQ wound up going out to Funcom for the bulk of his career, which was really cool. Because rad dude, you know, but very much like dude from Kentucky. And yeah, it was super cool to see that he was open to it. And oh man, Nick wasn't playing around when he said that he was going to increase the price on the backpack. I am fine with high prices, honestly. It's better to go high and then, you know, see how that works than not. So I'm pretty amped on that. Bags are expensive. Now that means people are going to be like, we'll see how much people wind up trying to gimp quest bags and stuff like that. But got some ideas in mind on how to address that. You'll create a bag crafting market. Yeah, that's true, right? Halaman, if you're crafting bags in this game, you're gonna get rich quick. Though this, I just bought this thing. It's got like 2 large slots. It really has only bought me. Oh, I should have went to pouch. I should have went like a belt pouch strategy. I screwed up. I screwed up. BDC Retro, exactly. That's why I'm excited about it. It was one of those things that when we first started talking about, it presents the possibility for inconvenience enough that I was kind of concerned that not everybody on the team would be down. But folks have been pretty good with the idea. Casting. Effect lighting. Just notes. Oh man, you know what? I wish I had another one of these coffees so bad. Like that orbital laser cannon spell effect. Yeah. It was one that we were discussing. I forgot who brought it up, but it was being discussed, and then when Zukin iterated on it, it wound up looking super cool. So I like the hand effects as well. We got a little... Oh, the animation actually worked that time. Huh. Gonna craft bootleg bat's teeth. All right, we need to kill some more bats. Let's see if we can find another tooth and see how much it sells for. Did I actually look that up in the database? Let me look it up in the database and see if I'm just remembering that wrong. Let's look up teeth in the DB. Teeth. Nope, that don't work. Tooth. That's better. Let's look at pricing. Ooh, there's a cool item name. What? Okay, but I didn't kill one of those yet. No, they really shouldn't be that much money. Maybe somebody nerfed it. Mad Zax 5000, thank you for the follow. Don't need that, that's for quest. Don't need that, that's probably for a quest. Oh, a little bug. Do you have plans on implementing customization of gear, be it statistic or cosmetic? I think the main thing we've discussed so far is the potential to do that via trade skills. Like right now you can already customize gear in the first pass that we put in for the playtest. So if you've got cloth armor, it starts as tattered, and you can patch it with a sewing kit and improve it, so it'll be patched cloth armor. And I think you can improve it one more time over and make it fine cloth armor. And same thing for like leather and other base stuff. We've gone through just prior to the friends and family playtesting and made it so that excuse me. Went through and pulled where we had just had a lot of placeholder full sets of stuff on vendors. And so it's right now it's a lot more about piecing it together, finding stuff and piecing it together. Forever Mash says best wishes to all. Best wishes to all for the new year. Can't wait to see what monsters and memories will bring in 2023. Well, thank you, buddy. Happy New Year. Let me go up here for a second. Okay. So those of you that have just tuned in, we are sitting... I believe right here. So it's kind of hard to tell. I popped back over here because I know that new folks roll in as we stream. And so if I'm just playing, then it gets easy to kind of not know what's going on. But we're currently in the city. And I say the city because we just have one for the time being. The city that we're using for the proof of concept. Proof of concept is a vertical slice of the full game that we're making. And it is currently a single zone. We may break it up because it's pretty huge, as you can see. Break it up into a couple zones. Especially once all the data goes in. Take a look at this. I'll load a data set just for Night Harbor really quick. Zone panel. Oh, it's usually over here. Yeah, that's right. Enable. It'll take a little bit to load. It'll take like a minute to load. 30 seconds. Mantis said, we didn't have mounts in Eco A, and I thought it made the game better. Exploring on foot and needing run buffs from people is cool. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that argument. What we're going to do is just, we're going to make the world bigger. And, you know, make it so that both wind up kind of happening. But there will be limitations and downsides and stuff to having a mount. Like your mount can get killed. I have a GM character made on our test server, Halaman. He's a naked ogre with the name first name customer, last name service, and he just runs around helping people if they need it. Yeah, so mounts can get killed, but you can also get your mount res. If your mount gets killed and it's got all sorts of you know, stuff in its bags, etc., it sits there. That'll be an interesting system for us. But yeah, so if you look at, we just got started, and if you look, like the data starts to add up pretty quickly, right? Like these are all either NPCs, right, like spawners, or NPC commands. And so the way that we do our system is we've got the ability to place and visualize our spawn data in Unity, and then it drops out to our database here. For the time being, we do the bulk of our work just straight in a database. We've started building some web-based tooling to interface with the database to make it a little bit easier to sort of visualize and work, especially when you're working on something that requires multiple tables. So like if I were to look at something like faction, we got faction in, we got the faction table with faction effect and faction relation NPC. You know what I mean? Like essentially the relationship. That's probably better off in one visualizer. Ability class, ability effect, buff effect, and all these things kind of interplaying. Again, winds up being something that you know, especially if you're not used to building or whatever, it's probably helpful to have that be in a front end, and then being able to move through the data so that you can see, oh, when I'm going to whatever ability, like I'm looking at abscond, I might want to be able to quickly see maybe all items that have you know, that have abscond on it. Or I might want to be able to see, you know, all NPCs that are using this ability and just quickly be able to bounce into that from there. So for the time being, I'll be honest, it's not super difficult or horrible to work in. It's maybe a little bit slower than it could be, but I've worked in similar DBs in the past, and so it's not bad. When I'm not streaming, it's a lot easier for me to just kind of like put some music on or a podcast and just kind of go blur. Phantom Rogue said, how do you guys normalize that data structure? It was just, was it just that you were previously comfortable with it in other games? When you say normalize in this case, what do you mean? Like, how did we decide to structure the data in a certain way? Oh, let me tab back over to here. Yeah, to multiple tables. So it's kind of a combination of things. And here I'll bring this up. So the first thing that we did was I made like a. The first thing we did was I made a spreadsheet. I think I started on a plane flight just on my phone with like Google Sheets. And essentially, I was thinking of table structures that I've used in the past, and my background is I've only really worked on MMOs, and so I've seen a variety of like MMO setups in terms of tooling, and I've seen both as a designer and as a producer the logistical impact of different structures. And you know, I've started on EverQuest in like 2000. I started in customer service, but became an apprentice to a design apprentice, and then became a design apprentice while working on Luckland. And by the end of it, I was a game designer, and so I was on that team for a number of years. And then I worked on the next like game I really worked on was DC Universe, and so we kind of went to a similar structure, but within Unreal. But we kept some of the way that Unreal managed data as well, and we used the tooling. The way it was integrated into Unreal was clunkier than what I experienced in EQ. But the overall structures, I mean, if you've played RPGs, the initial structure you can wrap your head around it, right? Because something like the NPC spawn group is essentially an encounter table, right? The loot table or loot table item group is a loot table, right? It's just table. And so if you think about the origin of like tables in gaming, it's not even a computer thing, right? It's not like database tables. It just happens to be in a relational DB. But if you thumb through an old pen and paper, you know, not old even, you thumb through any sort of RPG manual, you're going to see tables. And so it's easy to kind of think in terms of tables. And so long story short, I worked at a number of companies that did it different ways. Some of them were really like a lich. Nope. There's no lich. Stop that, Ollie. Yeah, without a doubt, this stuff in proof of concept will always wind up getting spoiled by me. Sorry. So the back, Radnor said the back of the DM's guide is my favorite spot. Me too. Like seeing the various tables is always something that's like kind of oh, thank you, Ollie, for the marketing help. So anyways, when we first started talking about data structure and tools and stuff, you know, the first thing I did was just kind of go down and list out what I'd seen before, and then how I thought it might be structured. Then we started implementing it, and I think Ollie used that, but then also started structuring it in a way where it made it even more sense, or in some cases made more sense to him. And then I looked at it and was like, I don't understand it. And then once it clicked, I was like, okay, I get it. And then we've just iterated on it since then. But the breakdown is not super complex, right? It's abilities, including buffs. Techmaster Gaming, thank you for the follow. Faction. There's tables for little interesting things that are maybe unique to what we're doing. Ground spawns, right? So in this case, it'd be the ground item. So what is the item that we want to spawn? And then what is essentially the encounter table for it? And because it could be less than 100% chance. Though I'd be curious on this one, because if it's less than 100%, then it doesn't work exactly like a NPC spawn group, in that NPC spawn group, the table always has to add up to 100. And so, but one of the fun things about going in and making content is finding where those things are inconsistent between them, deciding whether or not that is a good thing, talking to Ali about it, documenting it in our Confluence, which is our wiki, and then, making the adjustment as needed. We did that a little bit with the loot item table, or the loot table item group, and then the way that links to NPC table item group. And so we had some redundant functionality there, and when we started looking at it, it was kind of confusing some stuff, and so we simplified it. But the great thing is, the way the team works, and with as engaged as everybody is, there's just constant changes to our tools as needed. If we find something that's not working, we fix it pretty quickly. And so what are the rest of the tables? Merchant related stuff, harvest related stuff, item related tables, NPC related stuff, right? Quests, merchant list, all of that. We've got a volume system that's pretty interesting. It allows us to do a number of things. The volume system naturally leads to links to other systems like the mud actions. Mud actions are kind of their own thing, and that's the text-based interaction that you can do. NPC spawns, that's just all of those spawn points that I was showing you, but here's what they look like in the table. Right, it's a lot of positional information for spawns that are volumes instead of point spawns. We've got our length, width, height, unless it's round, and we've got our radius. We've got our facing. We've got certain special flags. Like no despawn. I think the only place where we've got no despawn used at the moment is in an archaeologist camp in Shaded Dunes that gets overrun by undead. And if you haven't heard that one before, essentially what it is we've got day-night flags, so we can have stuff spawn during the day, and then depop when it becomes night, and then the night spawns come on the same table, so we can reuse those positions. And we do a fair bit of that already, but we want to do a lot more. And the request that I had for Ali was, how do I was trying to find a way to hack and sort of keep them up so that the archaeologists that are in this site stay up even after they're supposed to despawn, right? So that they're up. They won't respawn anymore because now it's nighttime, right? So they won't respawn like they would during the day, but the undead spawn as well. They attack them, and when the undead kill them, then they stop respawning because it's nighttime and their spawns are no longer active. So just having a couple little flags like that can lead to some nice combinations in logic that allow us to do more interesting stuff, but with fairly simple tools. My preference, and I can only speak for me, but my preference in setting up tools like this is that we try to tableize as much of it as possible, without it getting super, super crazy and weird. And, if it's going to take 10 tables and 1,000 fields to pull something off, then maybe either we shouldn't be doing it, or maybe it is time to discuss scripting. But I've worked at companies where we had moved away, or, you know, I came in later and they had never really had data that was stabilized as mainly just in scripts. And so all of a sudden you've got thousands of these scripts everywhere that you've got to somehow dig through and find. You know, I've seen it where every single spawn, every single loot roll, every single item was a script. And it was amazing how often that team would run into problems with scripts. Just, you know, oh, somebody forgot a bracket or some shit, and that would break stuff. It was harder to ramp up designers that weren't scripters. It was harder to get people familiar with the tools, even if they had some scripting knowledge, because maybe that scripting was a bit unique to that project. Finding stuff later on was a giant pain in the ass. I honestly don't even remember how they did it. Maybe it was easier than I'm making it out to be, but you know, essentially short of like grepping entire directories or something, I'm not sure how they were finding stuff. It was just one of those things where oldest dude on the team, or guy that's been there the longest, just knew where to find everything. And to me, I love simple, like, relational DB structure for MMO data. Because think about it, we're a relatively small team, right? Here, I'll move this out of the way so you can see pretty stuff while we so let's just look at something like I'll look at items. So we're a small team that's just really started making a lot of content. If I look at items, we've got 1,346 items in the database at the moment. If I look at spawn points, we've got 1,117 spawn points. Just in the bulk of them are in this zone, our dungeon, and Shaded Dunes. Right, so oh, I don't think this character's a GM. How many did I just say? Which one? Spawn points? We have 1,117 spawn points in. Items was if we show all items was 1,346. That's what you were thinking of, Mantis. NPCs, unique NPC fields, 928. Right, and we've just barely started. Those of you that are just new to the project, just tuning in, we're showing production as we go. We always have been, and so it's not like we're kind of at the end of the project, and that's why we're bringing you guys in. We've been streaming this project since we were streaming this project before it was a project, and so so what you're seeing is very much a work in progress. And yeah, we're already at 900 NPCs. What else we got? Abilities? 414 abilities in the database. 226 buffs in that part of the, I guess, ability creation. What else we got? 242 recipes. That's both trade skill, but that's also for like quest container combinations and things, right? So the reason why I'm mentioning that is, it's for me, it's a hell of a lot easier to come in and go, I need to find. All right, cool. Recipe involving meat. There we go. Or I need to find, let's see, ability, draw. All right, draw strength. There we go. Right, and it's just, and then, oh, I want to make an NPC like that other NPC. So I'm going to come in here and be like, I want an NPC that's similar to Shifty Gnome. Come in here, highlight, duplicate it, boom, we're in. And so one of the things I think teams or companies that haven't made MMOs before, I've seen this even when I was at Sony. I saw this on a project where they are doing a similar sort of like proof of concept to get further greenlit, build like what we're doing. And they had scripted the bulk of the content in blueprints, which it was, you know, that's one of those things is how much content do you plan on making if you're nesting that information within you know, different assets and scripts and all that stuff. Apaka says, what engine? J Bombo clarified, we're in Unity. Networking is in lightnet lib, or so it's using lightnet lib, but we've probably redone our networking 2 or 3 times now in order to get it streamlined to the point that we are happy with it. I'm not the tech person. If you're interested in more tech details, you can always hit us up in Discord. We're one of the folks. There's 14 of us. So we're one of the folks that can answer your question. Like Ollie. Ollie right there in chat could answer as well. But we started with ML API, and from there iterated a couple times on networking and server to get to a point where Ollie was happy with it. So Ollie, you're the man now, dog. Ollie said ML API, which is now Unity netcode for game objects, was what we used initially. The lightnet lib, and just rolled our own netcode on top of that. Okay. That's how we'll try to answer that question in the future. Screenshot this, it gets asked every day. You know, that's actually not a bad idea. We need to just put it on our FAQ as well. So I'll take a little screenshot. I'll go into Slack. I'll go into my own channel where I post screenshots and shit so I can remember. There we go. Remind me to put it on the FAQ. Ollie said, unless you're making an MMO, stick with Unity netcode for game objects. It's awesome. Or else use Fishnet. All right. I'm checking a couple things in Slack. Sorry, guys. Don't mean to ignore you. That doesn't bother you, right? I might as well learn a little bit more about streaming while you're here. Every once in a while, when I've got to kind of go silent for a second and read something and respond in Slack, that's fine, right? I don't need to talk the whole time. Apaka said, and the server code is mixed with the client. Sorry for a bunch of questions. If Ollie's still listening, he'll give you a better answer than whatever I'm about to say. Gulo, DDJ, sorry for ignoring you earlier. Hello, good morning. If our attention span is so short, you can't stop talking for 30 seconds. That's an us problem. All right, fair enough. Makes sense. All right. So anyway, that's what our data looks like. Ooh, GeForce game ready driver is available. All right, I'm gonna close that out. Catastrophe, thank you for the follow. So hopefully all that made sense with regards to tooling. It was a good question. And every once in a while, it's, you know, it's good to sort of hit on some of those questions again, just because. Am I gonna make it? Oh no, I didn't. I did not jump very far. That almost looked like my first time. My first time jumping in like a quarry. I almost hit the rock. Scary. Phantom Rogue said, "Yep, made a lot of sense. Always interesting to hear other people's opinions on data structures and relationships." Awesome. I'm glad that was good then. Yeah, it's just even like the first year that I was on EQ, I think we were already hitting something like 60,000 items in the item database. We were basically creeping up on the cap to what the DB could support at the time. Some programmer DBA magic had to happen to make it bigger. And so that's always just stuck with me is how simple can you make the tools? How focused on scale of data, like scale of data, can the tools be? And what benefits do we get from having tools with inherent constraints? If you give somebody scripting and that's their primary tool as a designer, I think if they're a more experienced game designer, then that may be something where it's fairly okay. If they're not an experienced game designer, then you're basically saying, hey, game designer, you can almost kind of make anything. Here, go. Which is a really challenging starting point for a lot of people. Like, here's a blank piece of paper. That's a lot more challenging than saying, hey, your NPCs can only do the following thing. There are constraints. The quest logic is very much, you get the following bits of logic. This is, you know, here are the potential inputs. Here are the potential results. Here's the structure, and they're finite. And then if we start running into something where we're like, oh, we just can't do this one thing, like with some of the newer stuff, we actually more easily run into that with the mud actions, for example. So during that period, when we're iterating on the mud actions, we can go, all right. But again, it's building in a new piece. It's building in a new little bit of functionality within something that's a fairly simple data structure, like table. And I'll even show you here. Mantis, the water is actually one of our very few assets. We found out about this because one of the programmers on our team has worked on a number of Unity-based indie games himself. Like him and one other person have released a few games, and one series that he's worked on is a game called Salt, and then Salt 2 just within the last few months has come out on Steam. You should check it out. But it's a sailing game, and well, it's a game that's, what was it described as? It's like Sea of Thieves for introverts. So it's like a PvE kind of Sea of Thieves, explore, do PvE combat. It's really fun, super relaxing. You should check it out. And when he came over, he was like, hey, I use this water for my games. You guys interested in checking it out? And we're like, it doesn't really exactly fit with our style, but it kind of also does in a weird way. So let's do it. And so we did it. What was the name of the game engine? Unity. And then these icons that we're using here and in our little macro maker and stuff. So those are assets that the icons are placeholders. The water is good. Will there be fishing? There is fishing. So we've got basic fishing in. Oh, the sailing game? Oh, sorry. What did I think you asked? What was the name of the game? The name of the game is Salt 2. But what did I think you asked? What was the name of the... What did I have no idea. Yeah, it's Salt 2, but... What was... Oh, I read... What is the name of the engine? I said Unity. I didn't say Unreal Ollie. The team thinks it's okay to pick on me because I'm tall and have tattoos, and thus obviously very, very tough. But I'm such a fragile little dandelion that every time you pick on me, Ollie, I spew little particles. But yeah, so in talking about constraints, if we look at mud actions, so we have this. Oh my! I see you got a clean shirt today. Yeah, that shirt was a freaking embarrassment. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, so our ability to make these cool text-based interactions is just this one table right here, right? So let me go down to one where I know I'm not spoiling anything because it's one I put in. But essentially, it's just where in the world does this thing exist? Excuse me. How big is the interaction radius? What type of interaction is it using? So in this case, I can inspect, but we have inspect, take, John's favorite, was it taste, smell, pull, push, rub. And so very simple prompt. So this defines the interaction, whether it be the verb or the noun. The noun being, so interact with what or interact with what using what. And then very simple response mechanism. And then we've got some different conditions and essentially requirements. And yeah, so that's a dead simple just table to make content that winds up feeling, it's something that maybe another game would script. If I can run up here without dying, I'm testing on this account, so I'll cheat. I'll turn off my aggro. So like if I go up to the well here, again, those of you that have been here for a while, you've seen this before, but those of you who are new, if I hit look, I look. Ooh, this orange on tan is not doing it for me at the moment. But so if I look here, then it says, you see an old well, its crumbling exterior betrays its age, and it appears, but it appears to be as old as the rest of the ruins nearby. And if I inspect the well, oops, well, it gives me a little bit more information. Yeah, we've got a lot of UI work to do in the future. You see deep water below. I can flash. I think I put this in just to sort of test it. Taste the water. You scoop up a handful of dark water, taste it, tastes terrible. That type of stuff. Yeah, so it has old school mud commands too. Yep, that's what we're doing. That's why we call we call those interaction mud actions. And with the way our volume system works, I can put a volume in the world. There's a volume in the dungeon here. Now that I'm a GM, I'll run up to the dungeon and show you guys. So yeah, it's funny. Like everything in here is yellow. Everything's beige and brown and stuff, and so the orange doesn't necessarily do a great job. We'll get a pass on both UI and chat functionality, chat box. Because we're doing so much in text, whether that be interacting with NPCs or other players or mud actions like you just saw, then that's having really customizable, really dope chat interfaces with some really solid defaults is going to be very important to us. Beer Chuck said, very cool, takes me back to Gemstone days. Nice. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's our game, so why not try some stuff like that? It felt like having something where I mouse over and then there's a little interact icon and then I, interact and maybe do a little animation and a bar fills. It's fine, but why not? There's so much wild shit that we can do because we have interactions that you can't you won't be able to trigger. Like you hit look and nothing happens. For example, I put a quest in that's a newbie quest where you're given a glowy gem. And so if you've got the glowy gem and you're walking around with it, you're supposed to look wherever you see some sketchy characters kind of stop for a bit. And if you got the glowy gem allows you to see the thing that they were doing. And so, because again, at this point, it's prerequisite, must have this item. And then everything else is the same as how we do quests or how we do basic interactions, right? So if we come in here, John says I'm going to map the /taste macro to a movement key so when I run around, it looks like I have an unusual medical condition. Oh my god. Oh, Mantis said I used to use clear chat boxes in EQ2. Then I just made them black to be able to see. Well, anywhere, snow, sand dungeon, etc. Yeah, our UI is what it is for now. Can you set prereq as anything? Level, attribute, number of players around? Just curious. Not anything at the moment, but some of that. And we'll be expanding that as we go. Quest, yes, but not number of players. Yeah, so those of you maybe saw it like Ishiwatari did when we were zoning. We've got, when we're zoning now, Keith added the ability for us to have little lore blurbs pop up. So you'll start to see some new terms and locations and stuff that we've never revealed before. So I'm guessing, hoping your macros are going to be designed so people can't pseudo script with them. I think there's a degree of that we're likely going to be okay with. But again, it's just a degree. How far that goes, we'll just have to figure out as we go and get the whole team's input on. Thunder, Fire, Ice, and Wind said, I like the principle of keeping content production as cheap as possible, making it easy at quests like these. Increases the amount of things to explore. Exactly. That's exactly it. Again, everything back to the simplicity of the design, everything being data-driven, interactions being text-based. The idea is, how do we make this as rich of an experience as possible without making a huge... like a huge amount of just content in terms of art assets and unique animations and all that type of stuff. And then if you look, we're getting more props in, which is awesome. But again, we're not super prop dense. Our art style is one that I think actually benefits from being. Oh, the banner's disappeared. Interesting. But the art style is meant to really play off of interesting, fun color, lighting. You know, the old school textures being hand painted. I think there's a, like, if I look here, right? If I hit look, you're in the antechamber. A large stone statue rests in the alcove. I can then go inspect statue. There's a plaque on the statue, right? So I can read that. When you interact with these mud actions, you can get items from it, like you know. So we've added a system called statics. So there may be like empty torch holders on the wall that you can put your torch into, and you know, so simple interactions with the world that actually have an effect. But if you look at this room consists of very few textures, you know, very few unique textures, but the ones that are here are pretty dope. Very, very few props and some NPCs and some fun lighting. And when we're in here playing, or when I'm watching people play in here during playtest, it's great. You know, I love it. It to me, that plus some simple particle effects that use color and stuff, it makes for a fun experience. And it's fairly low cost. So like when I come in here, I'm gonna hit a volume, and if you look down here at the bottom of the screen, the volume that we've put in place actually triggers a mud action, and so it pushes it on me so that I don't have to manually like hit look. It just says, you notice a glimmer from a crack in the floor, and so then I can say, okay, inspect crack. Stop giggling. John, do not tell me to taste it. Design philosophy, dungeons, adventure through, or camp? Camp. We're very pro camp. That doesn't stop you from adventuring through, but we're very pro camp. Love camping. So I inspected a crack. A coin had fallen in the crack. Stop giggling. And now I inspect the coin. It gives me some info. Boom. You feel like you're being typecast? I wonder why, John. Dabado said, haven't seen a stream in a while. Then I saw this area. I said, oh wow, it's looking awesome. Yeah, so those of you that aren't aware, we've got friends and family. Testing has already started to basically prep us for more public tests. Well, a more broad public test in the future, which we're wanting to get done in the next not so distant future. Like, we actually want to try a load test sooner rather than later. So keep an eye out. Join the mailing list. You're going to want to be on the mailing list this year because we will be doing play tests. And it's going to be super helpful for us. But watching people play, you know, being able to sit and watch a full group play, man, the camping, I love, there's just something about seeing people grind mobs and get loot that makes me so happy. The middleman's opinion, thank you for the follow. Will there be metrics available on how many things you've tested in, or you've tasted in game? We should be able to provide you with that data as a player. And then we're already tracking, I'm not going to bring it up because I may bring up something I'm not supposed to show, but we're currently tracking player behavior down to, we know what spells you cast, where, how often, what you're killing, what you're looting, you know, when you log in, when you log out, if you brush your teeth. Oh, server coming down in 60 seconds. So that's allowing us to also dig in if we need to, kind of see, like, I think the example I showed before was, you know, I can see how many times I cast, in this case, Moonflame, in a level. Here, yeah, let me move. Fair point. I'll be safer here. Does it track any cracks that I may inspect? Murky Dirk. We may have to add that. Alright, so the only thing that's going to attack me when I come back in next time. Zone. Can I beat the clock? Wonder what happens if the server goes down while I'm zoning. This will be a fun test, Ollie. Was there a response to this thing that you had asked though? I'm trying to go back up and see who had asked about camping versus. Okay. Nope, I missed it. Who are you? Who was that? I'm scrolling up in chat right now, so if you're telling me, then. So Mantis Boxer, you said something cool up here that I missed. When I look for games to try, I'm always looking for a game that has looks like this, that old school look and feel, the mysteriousness of exploration. The unrealism makes it more real using imagination. Every one of those things you just mentioned is kind of, those are pillars that we're using, right? So I'm glad that I think we're scratching your itch. But who asked? Somebody asked me. Sean, seems like Guard Adnan has erroneous quest on dev server. Let me look real quick. Adnan. Who asked dungeon crawl versus camp? Oops. Add. Are you sure it was Adnan? I'll check the NPC. There's some weird stuff going on with music. I think that's my fault though. Let me just kill this in the background. I was trying to exit out, but it's taking a second. All right, so NPC quest, Guard Adnan. I don't know. Do we have any quests that are just tags at the moment? I haven't put in a... No, so there are no T-Guard quests in NPC quests. And Adnan doesn't have a quest. Pork Bunker said, how do you claim a loot on a mob? Example, ODQ is who did most damage while it's first to engage. We are most damage. POI would not be specific to Adnan though. It's all just directions. All tag directions for POI. Mantis Boxer said, yeah, y'all totally get people like me looking for a game like this to play. We sure hope so. That would be nice because then we could do this for a living. Anything without a prompt? I think it caused a debug. So I'm looking there are no POI point of interest. So this system, for those of you out there that don't know, this is a system that allows us to have mobs kind of tell you where to find things based off relative position. So to say, if you ask where the garrison is, the NPC knows where it's at. It knows where the garrison's at, and it says it's just a ways to the southwest of here, or it's way to the southwest of here, or it's nearby to the southwest. There's 3 of them. I forget what they are exactly. NPC quest. I'll look and see if there's any NPC quest without a prompt, but it could just be maybe a faulty prompt. Are you sure it's Adnan? I wonder. But it's, oh, there's Sir Alan Fortier, but you're anything without a prompt at all would be this one. And that's from a deprecated quest, if I'm not mistaken. Adnan. One of the other guards has a bunch of stuff on him, but not Adnan. Fine, you patch it from code. Okay, yeah, weird. Super weird. Yeah, so again, those of you that are just rolling in at the end, the dungeon that you're seeing is back in here. This is our ginormous, super crazy, awesome, ambitious city that we're in the process of making. This city is essentially the core of our proof of concept, our vertical slice that we've been working on and will have available this year. Naturally, you don't see the rest of the world because it's all in different zones. It's all in different scenes here in Unity. But we've got, if you go north, we've got a few zones this way. If you go west, we've got a few zones, including getting up to this scary castle that we didn't look at much in this stream. But if you're down here, you can kind of always see it glowing green up there at night. Yeah, and things are coming together. We've got playtesters in Friends of Family now who are running around in the city and in Shaded Dunes here, the next zone, and in Wormsbane. And we're gonna wind up just continuing to see what bugs they find, harden things up, and try to get a public playtest for you guys in the not too distant future. Mantis Boxer, you just hit on the thing that I was actually going to do on stream today and totally forgot to do, which was Mantis said, just don't do what EQ did, add a million options so it takes an hour or more to explain how to use it for newcomers. Excuse me. I'm in the... Basically, I'm creating a quick start guide now for folks because we're not going to dumb the game down and we're not going to put a million tooltips in the game and blah, blah, blah. It's a relatively simple game, but if people haven't played an old school MMO, it may not be for them. Things like going up and hailing an NPC and then talking to him in a chat box is not intuitive for people that have never done that before. So there'll be a quick start guide for people. There'll be a manual basically for people. If people don't want to RTFM, I don't know what to do. They can go in game and then learn how to OOC and go, help, I don't know what to do. And then hopefully if there are other players, they'll help them. But we're definitely going to keep the system's complexity to a minimum and work on the best way to just keep things relatively simple but deep. And while there's no hand holding, we will try to make the UX as good as possible. Jaybird X90, thank you for the follow. Phantom, the philosophy on dungeons, non-instance. We're not doing any instancing. All Funk said, I just brought a guy from P99 and a guy that had never played over to live on EQ and explaining the advanced loot table was the most painstaking. It's been, advanced looting has been explained to me on stream by people that play several times at this point, and I bet you if we hopped onto a TLP, the next one that comes out, you'll have to explain it to me again, right? So it's just it's brilliantly convenient when you don't once you know it. But there's a lot of stuff that I feel gets lost. And this is stuff where people, what we may find that I'm just wrong on this. But there's stuff that's inconvenient, but I think there's subtle psychological benefits that root you in the world that over time get chipped away and make it feel less and less like a place and an experience and more like just a game. And so having to reach down and pick items off the corpse to me is a ritual that reinforces being in the world when, you know, shit just kind of pops up in a window and disappears into different places and you can read interface and all that. I'm no longer rooted in the world. I'm killing mobile object in order to get reward. And sometimes reward is experience number, and sometimes that reward is graphical pool boosting number that, you know, boosts my ginormous pools of stats. Phantom Rogue said, I agree until that actually becomes a chore. I just think chores keep us honest sometimes. I feel like chores, a lot of chores suck. That's why they're chores. But if we start getting rid of all of our chores, I think we can ruin our experience without even realizing it. Right? It's like there's just something in there, and I get what you're saying though. I'm not going to argue against that, and I do think we'll find that some of these things don't work as intended, but there are a number of things that I feel once you get used to them and you start doing them, they seem maybe a little less tedious. And so I was really happy to hear like Nick was with a group because we require torches or lantern fuel for your lantern for your light source. And they were in there. They played probably 6 hours straight or something like that. And so, you know, you have to hold the torch in order for it to work. And so these guys that are very sort of focused on like min-maxing and having a very efficient experience still really kind of got in the groove and was like, all right, I'm going to be the torch holder. And, you know, and pulling as a different dynamic where if you're trying to get around certain places, got your torch out, then you go to pull, you know. And so it was interesting to see that. And torches are consumable. So, you know, there's like, oh man, we may need to get more torches, or oh shit, we don't have. Yeah. And so it's like, there's little things like that that I think add up to making the experience just feel richer. And without a doubt, there are going to be times where it's like, oh man, I don't want to do this. Right. It's just like going to the gym. It's like, oh man, I don't want to work out today, but I'm better for having done it. So that's the thought. That's the thought. I'll stop preaching. BDC retro. Hallfunk said it's honestly it's not a chore until you're farming lots of mobs because you're OP for the encounters. Yeah, and that's why you should just have some noobs do that for you and pay them some cash. Pay them cash. Collecting items to make flasks and stuff felt like a second job to get ready for raiding and WoW. Don't miss that at all. Yeah, I mean, there's certain things we've always got to watch out for, like, oh, I got to go collect all the world buffs and blah, blah, blah. But again, I'm hoping that the content that we make doesn't lean into that, and we can provide cool opportunities that don't feel like obligations in that way. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we're not going to get everything right. And we're not going to get everything right first try for sure. That's why we want you guys coming in and playing with us sooner rather than later. Because then well before, you know, I understand why, I get why, you know, companies traditionally work. And then towards the end, they're like, okay, let's go into alpha, and then we beta, and then we go live. But it's just been such a good experience getting feedback from folks from the beginning. And now that we're getting playtest experience, that's great as well. So that when it's time for us to actually go live, whatever that winds up looking like, then our shit should be pretty tight already. And it should be a pretty good experience. And hopefully, based on the fact that we've had playtesters in, that we've been showing you our work as we go, that we've had by then, you know, public open tests many times. Hopefully you guys that are interested in the game will look at us and go, I actually have faith that this game is going to be solid. They're not going to turn the servers on and everything's going to break, or they didn't account for this simple thing that, you know, somebody found in 5 minutes, or, oh, look, there's this dupe bug that they should have caught a year ago or whatever. Like, the goal is to get all that stuff good before we even start talking about going live. And so that then when we do go live, you've got faith on, you know, in our ability to continue to improve the game, to continue to add enough content to keep you around for years and all of that stuff. So we're not going to have a giant game at launch. We know that. Otherwise you're going to be waiting for years. But we're hoping to get the right size game and go live at the right time where the community understands and believes in us because we've earned it. And then from that point forward, it's just MMOs, dude. We keep making cool shit and you guys stick around for as long as we make shit that you like and we get your sub and you come back the next month and we make stuff as cool as possible so that you come back the next month. I mean, that's the way we did it in, 2000, 2001, whatever, the early days. And that's the way we're going to do it now and see what happens. And I'm super SE2. I'm happy that folks are like, I'll sub now, or hey, how do I contribute or whatever. That's super awesome. We're very appreciative of that. Let us keep working. And the one thing that you'll see as we continue to progress through this year is we're not talking about making you wait for years and years. We're hoping to figure this out and get this thing rolling and just get into a live operations mode sooner rather than later. Cool. I think that's the end of my sort of, preaching session. It is 5:07, so the dog wants to go pee, and I need to getting dinner started. Hopefully Jasmine brings the pork tenderloin. And yeah. BDC Retro says, sometimes I wonder if people who are against some older designs might like it if they just get in and try and start getting the feels when you start making progress in a harder game. I think they will. Janam, thank you for the follow. Mantis said, you guys ain't a big company, so you can get the kinks out better. When it's all built, you can do random stuff to people like you used to in EQ. Yeah. Yep, it's our game. All right, guys. All Funk, see you. Mantis, see you. Rev Chumley, see you. Seek and Destroy, thank you so much. See you Tuesday, guys. DDJ, see you. Thank you. That is fair. That is a fair one, John. That makes sense. Pork is excited. Thank you very much. Angel, hello. Good day. We're heading out. Sorry, Angel. Have to watch the VOD. See you. Ishiwatari Chus. Bis Dienstag. Gulu Gulu, goodbye. BDC Retro, goodbye. Dog Meat. Cheers. Team Nova, bye-bye. Aaron, have a great one. See you, John. Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry, Angel. All right. Okay, everybody. Thanks a ton. I will see you on Tuesday if I don't see you in Discord. Remember, Discord exists. The mailing list exists. Vumbra, Tcon, goodbye, y'all. And I am now officially going to bounce out of here. Have a great weekend.